Good morning, everybody. Hope you're all doing fantastically well on a day of which we've seen sun, people. We are seeing sun. Fantastic stuff. What's going on in your world? And we've actually got shades on. Can you believe it? But what else can you do, people? You've got to put them on, haven't you? Bit of Top Gun vibes. Or not. But yeah, we're here discussing a certain topic that I wanted to bring to you guys. It's not like a revelation, it's not any sort of update, it's not even something of which is different or new to you guys, or it might be to some of you, but it is Willy Gnonto. And I have to say, it's been piquing my interest. I've been taking note, I've taken a back seat, and I've just been reading some of the opinions around it. And Willy Gnonto and Saudi, now there's a lot in the ether at the minute about potentially, if a certain offer comes in. Now, this isn't consolidated by any particular source, but it hasn't been quashed either, which is interesting, by a lot of our favoured sources. About Willy Gnonto going to Saudi. Discussions of 20 million quid, apparently. So I guess my question is, it's more of a discussion point. It's more of, if this was to come to the fore, would you be okay with it? I think my stance is with Willy Gnonto, I think there is so much talent there. And a lot of it, you know, guys, my opinions on the front four is a lot of it is swayed by talent. It really is. And you'll see that with a lot of my selections, you know. People always say, you know, hard work beats talent when it's had a day off and all this sort of stuff. I just kind of favour talent, and I always have done, because I think talent always comes to the top anyway. The cream always rises. So yeah, for me, I've always been basing stuff on talent, and maybe that's why I always kind of prove, in my opinion, talent-wise, I think Willy Gnonto's got a higher ceiling than Dan James per se. But there is a conversation that Dan James works harder, therefore maybe fits Leeds United a little bit more, and that's not to criticise Willy Gnonto. It's just the stereotypical what Dan James is. A hard worker, a grafter, but he has got talent as well. But for me, he's not in the same conversation ability wise as Willy Gnonto, and maybe that's why, maybe this is the conversation right now. When it comes to Leeds United, we criticise Gnonto a lot more. I think he gets a lot more of it than anybody else, to be honest. I think the reason behind that is because we all have high expectations for him. But then I guess the secondary question to that is he proving it? Is he doing enough? Now, we reeled off the other day his big chances. He's created something like 36 big chances this season. 36 chances, I should say. I think it's 6 big chances. And he's got 5 assists, and goals and assists together, he's got 9, which I believe matches that of Brendan Aronson. But we're talking about Willy Gnonto at the beginning of the season in the territory of getting 15 potential goals, 10 assists, whatever it may be. We were talking pre-season, everybody was talking, it's annoying, isn't it? Shut up. About him getting 25, 30 goal contributions. And that was the expectation going into this season. So I completely get that. And is he ever going to live up to that expectation? Is he ever going to, you know, punch through that ceiling? As I've mentioned, talent-wise, I think he's arguably top 2 in the squad. There's a conversation about maybe Ramazani, Tanaka, probably Pascal Struijk in there as well. You know, and you just pick who your top 2, 3 are talent-wise, everybody, ceiling-wise. But I have to say, you know, there's a conversation right now of him leaving the club, and that been a genuine possibility. And alongside that, a genuine conversation and pros and cons. I think the cons would be, I think you'd significantly weaken Leeds. Dependent on what we do, you know, dependent on what we do. Another little conversation now, you know, if you were to do something like that, I know Ty Dolan at Blackburn has got 6 months left on his deal. You know, if you're to let Willy Gnonto go, and let's say Dan James comes in as a starter, the 23-year-old, I mean, anytime you watch Ty Dolan, even against us, he's so good. You know, lovely little balance about him. Once again, all these attributes I like in a winger. Good change of pace, gets you up the pitch, wins fouls, scores goals. I think Ty Dolan, with 6 months left on his deal, would be a right shout, to be honest. Can play striker as well. And that'd be a really cheap deal, and Leeds would pocket a lot of the money. They could maybe contribute to a goalkeeper there as well. But he's a deal who Blackburn Rovers, he's a player who Blackburn Rovers will want to keep a hold of. But I tell you what, everybody, that's one I'd be looking at. So, look, if Willy is to go, there's a lot of options out there. Do I think he will go? I don't. But if a big offer comes in, we know what these Saudi clubs can be like. Out of the blue, a week to go, they think, do you know what, we'll just test the waters. Do I believe Willy Gnonto's agent isn't sounding him out? We've had experience before, haven't we, with Willy Gnonto? I know there was a bit of dispute with his agent, and I think he actually got rid of him. But, you know, if his best interests are at heart, which is obviously, you know, Willy getting minutes and obviously getting, you know, the biggest financial reward for his career, it's a really good move for him. However, you know, could he play at Premier League level next season? Yes. If Leeds go up, would Leeds keep a hold of him? Of course we would. So I don't know. It's an interesting conversation right now, and I'm not for one saying there's a right answer, everyone. We all have opinions. Opinions are like you know what's in this game. But for me, I'd be keeping hold of him. But if a bid comes in for 20 million quid, I think Leeds have got to show him the door. I think you make a massive earning on him as well. Leeds brought him in for 4.5 million quid from the Swiss League. I think you've got to take that at Championship level, 20 million quid. You know, Premier League, we can always have a conversation dependent on his form. But right now, for me, I don't think he's doing enough. Yeah, I have said that I'd start him in my front four, but that's just an idyllic front four. Consistent throughout the season. There's a lot of context that needs to be applied to why I said that. You know, an idyllic front four who can gain partnerships, can gain a bit of cohesion between each other, and can play week in, week out together. I think it would be a nice balance between all four. And if you've not watched my previous videos, go watch them and you'll figure out who I was selecting. But as I've said, a lot of it is talent based. I think Ramazani has a ridiculous ceiling when it comes to talent. I think Manor Solomon has arguably been the most improved player this season for me. And on that right-hand side, we know what Willy can produce. We know what he can produce out of nothing. But is it happening enough? That's my question. And it's a real interesting conversation right now, everybody, because this doesn't seem to be going away this January, and it probably won't go away in the summer either. But 20 million quid, you know? If this came to Leeds United this window, I'm not sure we could say no. I'm not sure we could say no to it. And what would you guys do? Would you cash in? As I say, talent, don't get me wrong, it's great. But as I've said, you've got to start doing it consistently, and he's not doing it. So as I say, he'd be starting for me week in, week out, if he was just consistent. Because I think Willy Gnonto, consistent Willy Gnonto with talent meshed, my goodness, what a player we've got there. But it's not happening at this moment in time, and I think that's why Leeds fans are a little bit nervy about it. They're a little bit like, well, what's going on here, Willy? But I think it's because of the expectations that we set for him. Guys, let me know what you think in the comment section below. Really interested to hear what you think here. Let me know. Like, comment and subscribe. Check out the second channel. I'll see you in a bit.